Dang it, I forgot the oranges. I knew I forgot something. Oh well. Okay, but I have dog. Forgot oranges, but I have dog. Oranges aren't as fluffy, dog is not as orange, take your pick. Um, so this is going to be the first one in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing about different like One Piece reunions that I want to see happen, as in reunions between like the Straw Hats and certain characters. And this video is going to be me going over the East Blue reunions, or like their friends and family that are still in the East Blue at the moment, and like whatever that reunion is going to be like whenever Luffy and the others end up like returning there, or whatever ends up happening when they see them again. And then I'll have another one about like Paradise. I think Paradise is going to get, the first half of the Grand Line is going to get split into two sections, and then I think the New World setup is going to be split into like at least like to this point, and then another one for Wano, and then another one for like after Wano at whatever point in time. So we'll get to those, but first we're going to start off with the East Blue. And I'm kind of doing these in chronological order to a degree of, it's like when we kind of meet the characters are based around the Straw Hat. So first off, we'll start with Luffy and the people that, of course, Luffy will hopefully be reunited with at some point by the end of the story. And that's going to be, of course, Makino and Dodon, his two mother-type figures that, of course, he has way back on Dawn Island, Dawn Island in Fuchsia Village. And then, kind of Whoop Slap as like a side thing, because like he's there. He's been watching what Luffy's been up to over the past, 2 years and everything, over 2 years at this point in time. He's aware of what Luffy's been up to and everything. So, there's that. Yeah. But so we know that at the moment, we know that throughout the course of the story, we know that like the Makino specifically, has been like reading, of course, the paper, seeing Luffy's, his first bounty, and then like every time that he's gotten a new bounty, and they do like the Decks of the World, mini arcs, the front page arcs that they do, the cover stories where we get to see a catch up with all the different characters, particularly the ones that it's just been a long time since we've seen. And, with like Makino and then like Dodon, when we're introduced to Dodon after, during the big flashback that we get with like Luffy and Sabo and Ace for when they're children and everything after Ace dies, we see all of that, and we see how much, Dodon has, Dodon and Makino were like big influences on Luffy's life. And of course we know that Makino now has a child, who father of child is left up for debate, because Shanks is usually the one people go to for like, the father of her child has to be Shanks. But then with everything that's come out recently with Film Red and everything, and Uta being a thing now, which, I like Uta's design. I will see what happens with her in the story, but, that would be interesting. It's either she's okay, I'm going to go away from Uta. Sorry, not going to talk about Uta in this video. That'll be a different video where I like talk about Uta at some point. But whenever Luffy gets his new bounty or whatever, we see Makino be very happy for him and everything, and we see Whoop Slap in the corner just going like, that boy is just going to bring a bad name to our village. I'm just like, just shut up, dude. You're proud of him, but you don't want to admit it, because you're part of this, very old, you're the old crotchety man in the village, of course, that's somehow the bear. And then, of course, there's Dodon. And my image in regards to like what I kind of think is going to happen whenever Luffy does get back to Dawn Island, when he gets back to Fuchsia Village, he's going to see Dodon. He's, there's, everybody's going to be there. Like there's going to be someone's watching from the village, and they're going to see like, it's the Straw Hat flag. It's just like everybody in town knows who Luffy is, of course. And like, it's just like, they see the flag coming. They see the Thousand Sunny coming at that point in time. And, maybe the Lord of the Coast comes, makes his way out of the water, like looks at the ship and then senses Luffy, and then like just like dives back under and hides or something. I don't know. It's just like, I don't want to get punched again. Bye. Just like runs away. The Lord of the Coast just runs away. But, it's like we see, it's like my image is that, and it's like, and whether or not this is going to be like what they actually show in the manga or whatever, like I might get a little bit more adjusted in the anime at whatever point in time that happens. But like we'll, the Thousand Sunny will like pull into, Fuchsia Village, and like everybody will be out on the docks watching as like, Luffy comes off the ship, and he's got, all of his crew with them, however many of them there are at that point in time, a couple more battle scars on him probably. However many years down the line this is, but he'll return to Fuchsia Village, and he'll see Makino and Dawn and Whoop Slap and like the rest of the mountain bandits and everybody else that was in the village. He'll see them, and Makino will probably just run up and hug him and everything, and he'll hug her back and everything, because she's like him. Makino and Dawn are, of course, and I went over this in the Mother's Day videos, are like the closest thing to mothers that Luffy has ever had. And he's even stated, it's just like, well, I don't like mountain bandits, but you guys are, in regards to Dawn and them, you guys are okay. So it's, we see that, and we saw how, and it's also from like Makino and Dawn's point of view, it's like we saw the way that they reacted when everything happened with Ace at Marineford, with when Ace died and when Garp returned to the village, and when like Makino protected Garp from Dawn and everything, with as angry as Dawn was. And even though we had literally just met Dawn in the flashback, from Luffy's perspective, when we see her, the first time that we see Dawn in the present is when she's upset and angry at Garp for what happened to Ace. And, like, we literally just met her like a couple of chapters ago. And then, she's there and she's like standing up to Garp, and Garp's just like taking it because he deserves it. Or in his mind, he deserves, for the fact that he couldn't do something to try to protect Ace. But, Dawn and Makino are probably going to be very happy to see Luffy at whatever point in time he returns, but we also saw how sad they were when, like, the news came out about Sabo in the paper, whatever it is, captured, dead, whatever. Whatever that news was, we saw how heartbroken Dawn and Makino and the rest of the bandits were and everything, and probably even Whoop Slap is probably sad about that too. As small amount as he was around Sabo, he probably at least knew who Sabo was and everything. But we see how sad those two of them were. And, at whatever point in time Luffy does return, it's just going to be like, well, at least one of them made it home. At least one of the three that left them made it home. Made it back home and is safe. Luffy is Pirate King at that point in time, probably, but still, we'll see what happens there. And then I just wanted to add a side note here in regards to, like, Sabo, in regards to, like, him technically being reunited with, like, Stelly and Outlook, because Sabo and Stelly technically interacted at the Reverie, but Stelly didn't know that it was Sabo, of course. And then when Stelly reads, like, in the newspaper about what happened to Sabo, he's just like, oh my god, Sabo wasn't dead type moment. And I was just like, that's just funny. Just like, yeah, Sabo doesn't care about Stelly or his mother or father anymore. He didn't care about them to begin with, but he very much does not care about them anymore. So it's just like, Sabo doesn't care. He probably wants to see Stelly dethroned, and hopefully a better king put in his place, but, we'll see what happens with that. All depends on how the world government crumbles, or how the Tenryubito crumble. And then we move on to, of course, we have Zoro being reunited with Kuroshiro. And, getting to go back to, his village, to, Shimosuke Village, which now we know a whole lot more about the history of that place than we did when we first meet Zoro and everything, with, like, its connections to, so far back in the, Ryuma and everything, and, that it was founded by descendants of Ryuma, and that, Kuina is a descendant of Ryuma, as well as possibly Zoro, because reasons. And, it's like, I can see that, Zoro gets back there. Of course, when we've had, like, the updates from around the world, we see, like, Koshiro, I don't know why I keep saying Koshiro, is there, and, like, he's training all of these new swordsmen, and, like, they're all, like, mimicking Zoro with, like, having one of their eyes covered and everything, and he's just like, whenever they get the updates in the paper. And, we've seen him visit, like, Kuina's grave and everything, but, like, I can kind of see that, like, when Zoro does get back there, that, like, he goes there, he sees his former his sensei, his former mentor, and, like, he shows him, the Wado Ichimonji, which hopefully freaking survives this whole thing, shows him that and like tells him that like I met, you know, some people and I learned some stuff about these swords and everything, and like shows him like Enma and everything. And he like his sensei, Kuina's father, like looks over the swords and he's just like, you've done well, and like tells him about the other swords and everything. And he ends up, and then like Zoro would like go to like Kuina's grave and he would like put Wado on her grave, possibly to leave it there, possibly not, I don't know, but like puts Wado on her grave and like just sits there, like of course has sake because he's Zoro and he'll drink whenever he can, and like he sits there with the sake and like he just sits there and like talks to Kuina's grave and tells her everything he's learned, or how strong he's become, the fact that yes, now I am the greatest swordsman in the world, I achieved our dream. And like, and he does all that, and like he tells, like sits and tells the ghost of Kuina, and like maybe we get like a vision of like Kuina. It's like Zoro can't see her, nobody else can see her, she's not a force ghost or anything, but like we see her like sitting there, like we see Zoro like sitting there talking to the grave with the sake and everything. And like maybe we see like the grave like casts a shadow or something like that on the ground, and like it kind of looks like like the outline of Kuina, and like maybe she's standing there or whatever, or we just see this like this like not like a grown-up version of Kuina, but just like her as she was the last time Zoro saw her alive and happy and everything. So we'll see. Hopefully we might get something like that. But at the very least, I can picture like Zoro returning to Shimosuke Village, to Kuina's grave, and like, puts Wado there and like talks to Kuina and like tells her about his adventures and everything. And then, also with Zoro, there's, Johnny and Yosaku, and hopefully he'll get reunited with them at some point in time. We'll see what happens. Johnny and Yosaku are interesting. But, he'll possibly get reunited with them at some point. And then we move on down to Nami being reunited, of course, with Nojiko and Genzo. Nami returning to the village, knowing Nami, she'll show up at, Kokoyashi Village, and like everybody in town will just be like, okay, everybody hide your wallets. Like they tell all the kids, hide your wallets, but I don't have any money, just hide your valuables. And like they they're just like so happy, and like Nojiko would just be like so overjoyed to see her sister and everything. And Genzo would like look at Luffy, and I can see Luffy goes like, I never made her cry again, I'm sorry. I didn't make her cry. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. Because it's just like, because the last time that Luffy saw Genzo was like when he was at Belmir's grave, and like he understands that Belmir was like Nami's mom, and like Genzo tells Luffy, it's like, if you ever make Nami cry, basically it's like it's the shovel talk that he gets. Is like, if you ever make Nami cry, I will find you and I will skin you alive and then bury you. And the thing is, Luffy respected that from Genzo because it wasn't this empty threat. It wasn't, well, by technicality, Genzo was well aware of the fact that it's like, I can't defeat Luffy. It's like, I couldn't stand up to Arlong, and Luffy defeated Arlong, and I was like so much stronger. So it's just like, it's not like I can stand up to Luffy, but like, Luffy wasn't taking it as like, I'm stronger than you, I will do this. It's the whole thing of like, Nami means so much to me. Nami and Nojiko mean so much to me that if you do something that hurts them, I will do everything within my power to at least make you suffer for what however much pain you put them through if you make them cry again. Yes, I ship Nami and Luffy, and I do kind of read that as like Genzo giving Luffy a shovel talk, but still. I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure he would give the same shovel talk to any boy that has any interest in Nami, so that would include Sanji, and actually, I wouldn't mind watching Genzo chase Absalom around with a shovel and keep beating him on the head with a shovel. That would be a funny image of just like Genzo finds out what Absalom tried to do to Nami, and he just like finds his shovel and just like keeps like get his sword, his shovel, just like keeps chasing Absalom around and like whacking him on the head. That would be hilarious. I would love that. That would be funny. And like all that other stuff that happened, but Nami would show up on the island. She would see her sister again, and they'd probably go up to Belmer's grave. There's a lot of grave visiting in this. Goes up to Belmer's grave, and like she sees because Nami doesn't know that like they changed Belmer's grave from like the two sticks into like the very nice marble looking gravestone, and like so she would go there and she would probably see that, and she would probably be very, very happy, and like she'd probably sit with Genzo and Genzo and Nojiko, and just sit and tell them all of her stories that she has and everything, and like a lot of the reunions with the people that haven't seen them for a long time would result in them getting a lot of all these different stories, all these places that we went and everything, these people that we met, these amazing things we did. Nami would just like sit and tell them all of this and everything, and like I think it would be interesting if because Nami's the Minken trees that Nami has on the Sunny right now, those are from the orchard, of course, from Belmer's orchard, and she brought them onto the Mary, and then they got transferred to the Sunny and everything, and Frankie made sure that there was a place on the ship for like Nami's trees to be, and Robin kind of grows her flowers, and like Usopp then later on has his pop greens that he grows as well. So they have like this whole like greenhouse area, garden area on the Sunny. And I kind of like the idea of it being that I don't necessarily think like Nami's Minken trees would have like mutated or anything, but there's the whole theory that like Monette's fruit, like Monette's Yuki no Mi, her snow devil fruit, ended up like maybe reincarnating in like one of Nami's Minkens, and then like someone might eat that on the crew. Admittedly, Nami having that devil fruit would not be a bad one, but Oda has straight up said that like the best fruit for Nami would be the Thunder Nami would be Eteru's fruit, which makes perfect sense. But which makes perfect sense for Nami. But Nami might bring her Minkens back in and plant them with the other ones again and everything, and so like she's back home and everything, and like she'll sit and work on doing her big map of the world and everything at that point in time, like sit and show Genzo and I was about to say Makino and Dodon, sit and show Genzo and Nojiko, and like the doctor of the town, just like everyone in town that wants to come and see what's going on, like sits there and like shows them all of these different maps that she's drawn and everything, and like shows them like the path that they took through the Grand Line and everything, and like they're just like sitting there and listening to her talk and everything, like seeing that she's like working on achieving her dream, her map of the world and everything. And like, yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of parties that happen at this point in time. Too. Like they landed Fuchsia Village, they'll have a big party there. Landed, Shimosuki Village, big party there. Kobayashi Village, huge party there. It's like all types of partying. That would just be what would happen. And then we would have, when they return to like Syrup Village for Usopp to go there, and like he sees Kaya and the Veggie Pirates again. And like at this point in time, obviously everybody in town would know that, okay, Kaya would have explained to them that no, Kuro was actually, or Klahadore was actually Kuro of Thousand Plans, and he was actually this pirate, and he was going to do all of this stuff, and he's the reason my parents are dead, and he was going to, kill me and make me give him his money, and then he was going to have all of his pirates kill all of you. Whether or not, how far, like, they believed her in that, but, the villagers might be a little bit more okay with Usopp now, like less of the, oh my god, it's Usopp again, why? Just like using him as like a time card of just like, what time it is? What time? It was just like when Usopp was a kid growing up in the village. And what time is it? Pirates are coming! 7:30. Whatever point in time Usopp would run through the village, that would be like the time of day. That's how they kept time in, Syrup Village, was when Usopp would run through and yelling about pirates. But, like, we of course know that, like, Kaya and Mary specifically is one that, of course, built the Going Merry. And, I'm sure that Mary isn't like the Butler Mary was smart enough to understand that it was like, this ship is a ship that was designed to be used in the East Blue. It's not really designed to hold up to a lot of damage and everything like that. So I'm pretty sure he was probably aware at some point that the ship was probably going to need to be replaced, but it was the best thing that he had to give them at the time frame. And like maybe what would happen is, I would love this if like they, it's like they get to Syrup Village and everything, and like everybody's there like to greet them, specifically like Kaya and Mary and the Veggie Pirates, because Mary has actually kind of like, we've seen in like the cover pages that like Mary actually kind of like seems like he learned like some form of self-defense or martial arts so he can like protect Kaya. And I'm sure that the 3 Veggie Pirates have also tried to like maybe learn something so they can help protect Kaya. And of course, Kai is studying to be a doctor. But what I think would be adorable is if, when like they get to like Syrup Village and everything, and like, Usopp maybe like apologizes to Mary for the fact that it was like, I couldn't, we had to burn the Mary, and I'm sorry, and I did what I could to try to protect it, and and everything, like apologizes to Mary for that. Like probably does the whole like Usopp is one of the rare times when Usopp is serious, but like he probably would bow and like apologize to Mary for like the fact that he couldn't bring the Going Mary back to him. And like I can see that Mary is like, I understood that was probably going to happen, Usopp. It's like, yes, I'm sad that the ship that I worked hard on is gone, but I'm happy that it got you as far as it did, type of a thing, even with everything that you went through and everything. And I can see that Mary like explains that, and like I can see that makes Usopp feel a little bit better. But then I can also see that like Frankie looks over at Mary, because this would be like, because I mean, like, I can see at some point Luffy, like, disbanding the crew, but I also like the idea of, like, the rest of the Straw Hats, like, meeting, like, the other family. Like, Robin meeting Nojiko would be funny, because I could just see Robin and Nojiko somehow just, like, getting along. And, just, like, Chopper meeting the doctor that was in, Nami's village and different things like that. Like, I can just kind of see that. Particularly also like Jinbei meeting Dodon would be another thing where it'd be like Jinbei meeting Dodon and like meeting Dodon and Makino, these 2 women that were very integral figures in the lives and the raising of Ace and Luffy and Sabo, and like seeing them and like understanding a little bit more of like where Luffy comes from. And I mean, like, Luffy's not the person that's gonna like sit down and like tell Jinbei about his past. It's like, that's not what Luffy's gonna do. But I can just see, Luffy, like, Dodon, like, maybe Jinbei, like, got explained to him, like, who Dodon and Makino are or whatever. Maybe by Luffy, maybe they just explained to him, and, like, he sees him, and he's just like, well, I can see that the 2 of you did a very good job with raising him and with raising Ace and everything. And so it's just, like, I can kind of see that, too. But I also like the idea of, where I was starting with this thought was, Frankie meeting Mary. And, like, Frankie meets Mary, and he's just like, so you're the one that built the original ship? And he's like, yeah, I am. And like I can see that like Frankie looks over him and he's just like, that ship went through a lot, but I could also tell that it was built with love. And I saw everything that Usopp did to it to try to keep it going, and he worked really hard on that. And like he maybe apologizes for the fact that he kind of also like kind of ripped the ship apart a little bit. Yeah. But like he like talks to Mary, and he's just like, you did a really good job with that ship, for not being a professional shipwright. You did a really good job with it. And like he's like, I can see also probably like Chopper jumping in and going like, yeah, and Frankie built us a mini Mary too, type of thing. And like Mary would be like the butler Mary would be like, mini Mary too. Like they pull out the mini Mary, and like he gets to ride in the mini Mary with like Usopp and Kaya. That would be adorable. That would be so cute. Just like, so it's like the Mary's not 100% gone, and like we know as the audience that the Klabautermon that was in the Going Mary is inside, of course, the Thousand Sunny. We know that as the audience, but like the rest of the crew doesn't know that. But like I can also kind of see that like when they show up at the island, that like maybe like the shadow of the Klabautermon is there as well. I can see that happening. And of course, it's just like, if there is one couple in One Piece that it's like a Straw Hat couple that I can see Oda making canon, it would be Usopp and Kaya. It's like, because like she would just sit there and she would just listen to like all of the stories that Usopp would tell, and like she would probably like, because I could tell you Kaya knew at times that like a lot of the stuff that Usopp was telling her was BS, but it was just to make her happy, and she was fine with that. And she ends up just like listening to his stories, and like the veggie pirates sit there and like listen to the stories that Usopp would spin and all of his amazing tales about how amazing he is and everything. And like I can see also that at times like Nami or one of the others would come by and go, it didn't happen that way, and then walks off. And like Usopp just going like, yes it did. It's just like annoying the heck out of Usopp. I could so see that. Usopp, and then we fought this giant dragon god in Wano, and I defeated him with my mighty conqueror's haki and my kabuto and my pop grease. And I was just like, Nami walks by. You did not defeat Kaido. You didn't even fight Kaido. Type moment. Just like I could see that entirely. Tells the story of like how he became God Usopp type moments, just like all that. I can so see that. And like, Kaya, of course, is, it's just like, I want to become a doctor because then when Usopp comes back, if he's wounded, I can heal him and everything. So it's just like, I like that idea. And then we move on to, Sanji getting reunited with Zeph and the rest of the chefs, Pate and Carne and such, at the Baratier, of course. And like, of course, Sanji showing up and seeing the ship that has his old poster face on it would be hilarious. That would be so funny. You're like, why did you do that? Why did you use that? That doesn't even look like Bay moments. So just like I could so see that. I can so see that happening. Rainy, you are gonna fall off the bed. Rainy, stop. You're gonna fall off the bed. I'm literally holding him on the bed. Rainy, move. I don't want you to fall off the bed. He's like, why did you stop me? Because I don't want you to fall off the bed, silly. But it is not fall. It is not long fall. I would be fine. Yeah, dog. I love you. Back to this. But, it's like they end up at, the Baratier, and like Sanji's just like flipping out over seeing the other ship and everything. But then like Zeph is just like, I'm just going to make you guys like this big meal and everything. And like Sanji goes in and Zeph is just like, looks at Sanji and is like, show me what you learned while you were gone. And like Sanji just like has so much fun cooking with Zeph again, probably getting whacked upside the head multiple times as well during that whole time frame. And like, just like they have like this big feast and everything, with all the Straw Hats there, like, just like another big party that would happen. Or just like gather everybody together from the East Blue at the Baratier. Because, well, I mean, it's not like okay, so we know that Johnny and Yosuke have been like they became like fishermen or whatever. They stopped being like bounty hunters and became fishermen or whatever. We saw that in one of the cover pages. And, it might be that like they know where the Baratier is and they know where Kokoyashi Village is. But they don't know that Usopp came from Syrup Village. They don't know that Luffy came from, that was a bird. I don't know if you heard that, but that was a bird outside. I have no idea if you can hear that, but there's a bird outside. Rainy is befuddled by the noise of the bird. Did you hear the bird? Did you hear the bird? He's like, I am going to stare at you until you open this window so I just can put my nose out. Yeah, that'll be after I'm done recording. And he yawned. And, like, they don't know exactly where Luffy came from. They might know that Zoro came from Shimosuke Village, and they might be able to go there, but, with as long as they traveled with Zoro. But, like, it's not like they would be able to find all of them and, like, have everybody come to the Baratier. But, like, the Baratier would be a great place, because, like, I can kind of see that, like, since Johnny and Yosuke know where both of those places are, and, like, that, Zeph and the other chefs know that, like, oh, these guys are friends of, like, Zoro and such, that, like, maybe what had happened was, maybe some of the fish that Johnny and Yosuke catch, they, like, sell to the Baratier, and then, like, maybe they set up, like, a system of, like, oh, well, Makina, or, Nojiko and Genzo, like, they have, like, the Belmere, her, Mikins that they sell and everything, and maybe, like, the Baratier buys Minkins from Nojiko, so there's like a, like a trading system kind of a thing that's set up between those ones. I just always thought that would be kind of a cute thing. But like, Sanji and Zeph just have, Sanji just enjoys showing Zeph all of these new cooking things that he's developed and everything, new recipes, and like all the stuff that he like learned while he had to be, chased around, Kamabaka Kingdom, all of those recipes that he learned there, and like all the other recipes that he's learned, and just get chased around and everything. Like he like shows a bunch of the stuff to Zeph and everything, and like he maybe tells Zeph that it's like I met my father, I met Judge again, and kind of tells him a little bit about what happened in Totland, and kind of says, they tried to use you against me, and they were going to kill you and the rest of the chefs here if I didn't agree to do what they wanted me to do. And like I can see Zeph like just like looks at him like whacks Sanji with his peglet, just like, you think I'd let a stupid king from the North Blue take me down? Just like huffs and walks off. Whatever the case happens. I can see that they do that. I would enjoy that so much. Just like seeing all of them just all being happy and together around their friends again and their family. I can just see that would be what they would do. How much fun that they would have with that. So that's what we have for the East Blue reunions. The next one would be about Paradise, and that'll be like the first half-ish of Paradise. I'm thinking like up through Alabasta would be kind of where that would land. So that's what I'm going to go record next. So I thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed the video. And if you had any comments for like something you would think that would happen with like reunions of people in like the East Blue in One Piece, let me know. Just, put that in the comments. So have a nice day. Bye. So even if Usopp comes back injured, I can cure all of his wounds.